Guys, we have these linear equations and we are going to learn how to solve these linear equations. They are a follow-up to my video that I recently posted on how to solve one-step linear equation. So this is a multi-step linear equation, but it is one of the easy questions you may be meeting. There are other more difficult level questions than what we are going to do here. And I'll make sure to get you all those questions, solve them, take you through the procedures on how to solve them. Now, we have about 6 questions to solve in this video, and I will take my time to explain them for you to get it. So this question, we are trying to find or solve for y. We are trying to find the value of y. We have y out of 5 plus 3 is equals to negative 35. How do we solve this question? For this question, we have 2 ways that you can use to solve this question. And each of them is the best method depending on your situation. So I'm going to use the first method. Whenever you have any equation without parentheses, but there is a fraction, it is always good to make sure that you multiply through by the denominator. When I say the denominator, what I mean is this 5 over here. So it is better to multiply through by the denominator. So now we are going to multiply each of the terms here by 5. We are going to have 5 times y out of 5 plus 5 times 3 is equals to 5 times negative 35. Now, this 5 here is going to divide this 5. So we are going to have y plus 3 times 5, which is this one. 5 here times the 3 here is going to give us 15. Is equals to, now we have 35 times 5. Now let's do the multiplication here. 5 times 5 is 25. You have a remainder of 2. 5 times 3 is 15. And the 15 plus this 2 is going to give us 17. But we shouldn't forget we have a negative sign here. So we are going to have negative 175. Now, because we are finding the value of this y, we have to transfer this positive 15 here to this side of the equation. And you know, when you transfer this positive 15 to this side of the equation or to the other side of the equation, if it is positive, it must change to negative. And if it was negative, it must change to positive. So now we are going to have y is equals to negative 175 minus 15. So what will be the answer? 175 plus 15. We have 10 here. This will give us 8. 8 plus 1 will give us 9, then 1. So we are going to have y is equals to negative 190. This is the one way that you can do it. The other way is this. You can transfer this 3 here to this side of the equation. So which we are going to have y out of 5 is equals to negative 35 minus 3. So negative 35 minus 3 is going to give us negative 38. So y out of 5 is equals to negative 38. Now, since this 5 here is dividing, we must multiply both sides by 5. So we can multiply here by 5, then we multiply here by 5. Now, we know this 5 is going to divide this 5, so we are going to have y, then equals to negative 38 times 5 is going to give us, let's show the working. So 38 times 5. 5 times 8 is 40. So remainder 4. 5 times 3 is 15 plus the 4 is going to give us 19. So we have 190. So the negative 190. So you can see that though we used different procedures or steps or methods, but we ended up getting the same answer. So that means each of the method works, provided you are doing the steps very well or correctly. Now let's look at how we can solve this second question. For this second question, I'm going to use the very first method that I used for the first question. So I'm going to multiply through by the denominator, which is 8. So I'll multiply each term by 8. So I have 8 times 3 out of 8n plus 8 times 1 is equals to 8 times negative 25. Now this 8 is going to divide this 8, so we have 3n plus 8 is equals to, now let's multiply 25 by 8. 8 times 5 is going to give us 40, so remainder 4. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 4 is going to give us 20. So it means we are going to have negative 200. Now we are going to transfer this 8 here to the right side of the equation. And we shouldn't forget, when you move a positive number from one side of the equation to the other side, it must be negative. If you move a positive number from one side of the equation, whether left or right, to the other side, it must change to a negative. So we are going to have 3n is equals to negative 200 minus 8. So we are going to have 3n is equals to negative 208. And since we are looking for n but not 3n, and this 3 is multiplying the n, we must do the reverse operation, which is division. So the reverse operation of multiplication is what? Division. So we are going to divide here by 3. We are going to divide here by 3. So this 3 is going to divide this 3. So we are going to have n is equals to negative 208 divided by 3. So this is how to solve these questions, and I hope and believe you understood it. Now let's look at our next questions. They are very similar to whatever we did. Now we have this 3 multiplying y plus 2 out of 5 in a parenthesis equals to negative 1 out of 5. How do we solve this question? In my first video, I made mention that if you do not have any parenthesis or bracket, but for this video, we have parenthesis. So whenever you have parenthesis and there's something outside multiplying it, we must always make sure we expand the bracket or we multiply the number outside by whatever is in the parenthesis or bracket, so that the parenthesis will be taken away or we will not see the parenthesis again, so that we can continue with the work. So this is what I'm trying to let you understand. We are going to use the distributive property. The distributive property says that this 3 is supposed to multiply this y. So we are going to have 3y. Then you take into consideration the sign here. The sign here is plus. The 3 here is also positive. So you bring your plus sign. You multiply this 3 by this 2 out of 5. So we are going to have 3 times 2 out of 5, which is 6 out of 5. So we have 6 out of 5 like this. Now, we have expanded the bracket or removed the bracket or use the distributive property to expand the bracket. Now we bring our equals to sign, the negative 1 out of 5. Now, in my first or earlier video, I made mention that if you have a denominator, it is better to multiply through by the denominator. So let's apply that here. Since the denominator is the 5 here, or these 2 5s, we have to multiply through the equation by 5. So we have 5 times 3y plus 5 times 6 out of 5 is equals to 5 times negative 1 out of 5. Now 5 times 3y is going to give us 15y. Then you bring your plus sign or your addition sign. This 5 here is going to divide this 5, so we are still going to have 6 is equals to this 5 here is also going to divide this 5 here, so we are going to have negative 1 here. Now we don't have any fraction or any denominator in the equation that we are seeing now. So now we are left with grouping of like terms. So I'm going to send this positive 6 here to this side of the equation. That should be the next step. Okay. So I'm going to write 15y is equals to, the negative 1 is already here, so I'm going to write that one first. Then this 6 here was positive, so when it comes here, it's going to be negative 6. I hope you are getting it. Now, we need to solve negative 1 minus 6. -1 minus 6 is going to be -7. So we have 15y is equals to -7. Now, since we are looking for y, we must divide both sides by the coefficient of y, which is 15. So we have here 15. Then we also have here 15. So it means our y is going to be, first let's divide 15 by 15 to get 1. So y is going to be -7 out of 15. Now we have our next question here. As I said, we have about 6 questions to solve from this video. And any of the questions gives you an idea on any situation that you are going to face in your class. Now let's see, this -8 is attached to this parenthesis or bracket. So as we use the distributive property in this question, we are also going to use distributive property in this question as well. So we must expand the bracket. What I'm saying is distributive property. So we are going to use this -8 to multiply this one. So we have -8 times 1 is going to give us -8. -8 times -g is plus g, plus 8g, okay, is equals to 56. Now, we have to group like terms. So this 8 here must be moved to where the 58 is. And this 8 is a -8. So when it is moving, it will definitely become a +8. So we are going to have 8g is equals to 56 plus 8. And 8g is equals to, so what is 56 plus 8? 56 plus 8 is going to give us 64. Now we have 8g is equals to 64. So in order for us to find the g, we must divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of g, which is 8. Any number attached to the g is called coefficient, and we must divide both sides by that number so that we can take away the coefficient or eliminate the coefficient from the variable. So we have 8g divided by 8, 64 divided by 8. So we have g is equals to 8 because 64 divided by 8 is 8, or 8 times 8 is 64. Guys, we have solved our 4th question and we are moving on to our 5th and 6th question. And our 5th and 6th question is about a triangle. And it's going to deal with angles. So you can see the 5th question here. You see this angle here, we call it perpendicular. And it shows that here is 90 degrees. And we all know that angles on a straight line is 90 degrees. So if this place is 90, then it means the rest of the angle here is also 90. So in this case, we are supposed to write this equation. 3x plus 7. Since these two angles, when they add up, they form 90 degrees. We must add these two angles and equate it to 90 degrees. So we have 3x plus 7 plus 5x plus 3 is equals to 90. That is how this question must be solved. Now we are going to apply grouping of like terms here. So this 3x and 8x must be brought to one side. So we have 3x plus 5x. Sorry, it's not 8x, it's 5x. 3x plus 5x coming together. Then plus 7 plus 3 should also be brought at one side. Now 3x plus 5x is going to give us 8x. And then 7 plus 3 is going to give us 10. Please and please again, you can never add 8x and 10 because they are unlike terms. You can never add or subtract unlike terms. So in this case, we are going to group like terms by transferring this 10 here to this side of the equation. So we are going to have 8x is equals to 90. And we know that when this 10 moves to this side of the equation, it's going to become a negative number. So 90 minus 10. So we are going to have 8x is equals to 80. Then our next step is to divide both sides by 8, or the coefficient of x. And the coefficient of x is 8. So we have here to be 8, here to be 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So we have our x. And then 80 divided by 8 is 10. So it means our s is equals to 10. And that will be our answer. Now let us come to this question. The last question for the day. 3x plus 8 is one part of the angle. And then x plus 4 is another part of the angle. Please, this is a straight line question. And I guess you know the angle on a straight line. The sum of the angles on a straight line is 180. The sum of the angle or the angles on a straight line must give you 180. So we are going to add 3x plus 8 plus x plus 4. Then we are going to equate it to 180. The reason why we are equating it to 180 is that this line that you are seeing here is a straight line. It's a straight line. The total angle on a straight line is 180. So if you are being given a question on a straight line, you must add every angle on it and equate it to 180. That is why we've added the two angles, this one, and equating it to 180. Now let's group like terms. We have 3x, then we have plus x here, so plus x. Then we also have plus 8, and then plus 4. Then we equate it to 180. Now 3x plus x will give us 4x. Then 8 plus 4 is going to give us 12. Then you equate it again to 180. Now, since we cannot add 4x and then 12 because they are unlike terms, we must transfer or bring this 12 to this side of the equation. We are going to have 4x plus 12. Sorry. 4x is equals to 180 minus 12. which is going to give us 4x is equals to 168. Let's see whether it is really 168. So we have 180 here. Then we have our 12 down. You cannot subtract 2 from 0. So you have to take 1 from this 8. When you bring it, it's going to become 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. Now, this 8 here is no longer 8, it's 7 because you took 1 from it. So 7 minus 1 is 6. And we still have this 1 here. So it is 168. Now, after getting 4x is equals to 168, we have to divide both sides by 4. So we have divided by 4 here, divided by 4 here. So 4 divides 4, 1. So we are going to have x is equals to. Now 168 divided by 4 is going to be 42. So the value of the x is 42. Guys, thanks for watching this video. There are more videos coming your way. All topics in 7th grade, 8th grade, and 6th grade will be treated. If you have any question on any topic in 6th, 7th, and then 8th grade, please kindly send me a message concerning that particular topic, and I'm going to make a video on it to help you students. Thanks for watching. Bye.